Okay, I'm going to give you an entire lesson while I make before I make this fruit salad I made the other day, and it's highly packed with magnesium. Had forgotten how much magnesium or how much how many ingredients that I was using that actually contained magnesium in it, which caused me to have a nice afternoon nap. Ate it for lunch during the day, fell asleep on the couch. Very good for those who have insomnia. This salad will help you. I know that. Because magnesium is very good for sleep. And it's anti-inflammatory. If you use other sources of ingredients that contain potassium, such as the zucchini is both packed with magnesium and potassium. Bananas and eggplant. Eggplant is another vegetable. It contains a lot of potassium, not as much magnesium. Fruit, apples contain a lot of magnesium. Just a small amount of the agave nectar, a lot of magnesium. Now, my memory is going a bit. So, sesame seed, anything with made with sesame seed, such as sesame seed oil or pureed sesame seeds, such as tahini. Great sources of zinc and what did I say earlier? Tryptophan, which is also good for sleep. Tryptophan exclusively is good for sleep, naps, insomnia. Zinc is not only good for and also potassium. Sesame seeds are a good source of potassium and zinc, but exclusively zinc. Zinc is very good for those who may have acne. It reduces acne. I've read about that in the past. In my orthomolecular books I've read, self-help books. And also the tryptophan that contains naturally in sesame seeds is, when it's in a either oil or pureed, is more concentrated than if you sprinkled a few on top of a salad. So these are powerhouses or superfoods. Okay. And tryptophan is not only good for, let's say, those who may have insomnia or sleep problems, it's also a natural antidepressant. It increases serotonin, and a video that I watched by, I believe, what is his name? Dr. McDougall. It's in, I may reference it, it's in my biohacking board. Mentioned there's someone, I think there's a girl that mentioned that does a annotation or a monologue on her review of what Dr. McDougall had stated, that how tryptophan works for those who are strictly vegan in comparison to those who consume meat and dairy products, which are high in cholesterol and or high in saturated fat, which causes malabsorption of the tryptophan from getting into the bloodstream through the intestinal tract and to cross the blood-brain barrier and increase serotonin levels, which then works as a natural antidepressant. But I highly recommend working with your doctor. Never go off your medication without first consulting your doctor. Okay. Or if, let's say, you're just a little in a lull or something, you don't need an antidepressant, you're just a vegan, it's good to supplement with nuts and seeds. Unless you have if someone recommends you see a doctor or physician and you're depressed, definitely go see your doctor or physician. Do not go off your medicine. In my disclaimer, I do and have mentioned I do not take responsibility for anyone's actions as a result of what I write in my recipes or whatever, or via spoken or anything. I clearly state that in my disclaimer, that just like as if you pick up a book, like a recipe book or anything, that a self-help book, it's your choice to either read it or put it on the shelf. I do not claim any responsibility for the actions resulting from those who use the information on my Pinterest page. Solely up to the individual reading or watching or listening to the content on my Pinterest. But I just wanted to clarify that specifically. It's very important. And so, now, zinc, if you have acne, is a mineral. Zinc is a mineral that is known through various articles, self-help books that mention about zinc and acne. It helps to remove acne. When paired with a very alkaline diet, also apple cider vinegar, vinaigrettes, mixed with lemons, which are actually highly alkalizing. They may taste acidic, just like limes, but they're very alkaline. They just taste acidic. Now, fresh produce that contain a lot of fluid naturally in it, like the zucchini, and also eggplant, tomatoes, any produce that contains a lot of water content are very alkaline. Very alkaline. Now, if you eat, let's say, a standard American diet that is usually highly acidic, saturated fats, Uh, it can cause a lot of health complications, high cholesterol, and anything with high cholesterol from dairy and eggs, and like all animal products are very acidic and low fiber. That's why people on a standard American diet are recommended fiber. Now, when you're a vegan, fiber is found almost in everything that we eat as vegans. The oils, omega-3s, not recommended to cook with. You can bake with them. They are usually found in a small amount by a small amount of sources. Chia seed is one of them. I recently bought this liquid chia seed oil. It has more omega-3 than omega-6. And that is good for balancing our brain chemistry. It helps with the circulation. It's an essential fatty acid. Now, I don't know, is this DHA or EPA? No, that was that was algae oil, I believe. Algae oil, I read the other day. I'm not sure if chia seed is DHA. But I do know that most plant-based, vegan, essential omega fatty acids, omega-3s, are EPA, and it requires the body to convert it to DHA. It's very hard to pronounce. It's like dihexylglonic acid or something like that. I don't know what it is, but okay, too much detail. Walnuts, good source of omega-3s. Good for baking with. Some recipes you can stir fry some walnuts, make them candied, but they have a very low heat tolerance, so baking is an exception. Like bread, muffins, cupcakes, scones, cookies, vegan cookies. Omega-3s, the oils, great to add to smoothies or salads. Do not fry with omega-3s, they'll go rancid. And they have a low heat tolerance. And extra virgin olive oil, great source of omega-9. And omega-6. Omega-6 you can find in like almost all vegan recipes. If you use fresh produce, omega-6 is found in a lot of the produce already. I know eggplant has omega-6 in it. Zucchini has omega-6 in it. More than omega-3s. But green beans, I found out, actually are a good source of omega-3s. Didn't know that. Actually, string beans, I should say. Until I studied last year. What was I going to say? Oh, carrots, great source of lycopene. Anything orange or red in color, lycopene. Healthy for men's prostate. I don't know if I should mention that, but it's true. If they can actually fight prostate cancer. Lemons. Oh, why am I saying lemons? Lemons, I already mentioned about how they are actually alkaline. They may taste acidic, but when it passes through the intestinal tract, it becomes very alkaline. Same with the apple cider vinegar. Taste acidic, it's actually very alkaline. It's also this apple cider vinegar is a prebiotic, meaning that it is said to clear out the intestinal tract for if you were to ingest probiotics later on within the day afterwards, the probiotics would produce a healthy flora or nourish the flora for better absorption of nutrients such as vitamins and minerals in our intestinal tract. So it's a prebiotic. It creates a healthy environment within our intestinal tract for flora to grow. Okay. Now, this is like a blast of magnesium right there. Tryptophan, little agave nectar, the zucchini, apple cider vinegar, a little bit of the Bragg's Italian vinaigrette, very high in magnesium, zucchini, potassium. It will help people who have insomnia or those who may even consider themselves insomniacs. It may help them. I can't guarantee that it'll help an insomniac, but it gave me a good afternoon nap a few days ago. I was not expecting. I just passed out on the couch from it. Sesame seed oil, tryptophan. This is just an extraction of pure sesame seed oil. The focus on this camera is not good. All right. Let's see. Can't find the ingredients. It's probably cold pressed. I don't know. Looks like it was toasted sesame seeds potentially. It was not cold pressed. I don't even know. But it's 100% sesame seed oil, I believe. No MSG added. No preservatives added. Great source of zinc. Good for those who may have acne. Zinc is a great way to reduce acne naturally. Also, this combination, vinegar, make a vinaigrette, half a lemon squeezed, about maybe a quarter of a cup of olive oil. You can eyeball it. Let's say 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Probably a tablespoon or less of the vinaigrette, which has olive oil, vinegar already in it. But this will add a little extra flavor very fast. Some garlic, onion powder, black pepper, xanthan gum for the thickener. You don't really need that. The sweetener is honey, organic honey. Okay, so use very little bit of this. If you want, add a little extra flavor. And, oh wait, yeah. A very, very small amount of agave if you want to sweeten it. You may not even want to. This is already packed with magnesium. It's also for a, if you want to take a photo in a recipe book, the golden raisins, add enough contrast to the salad I'm making if I want to add it to a recipe book later on. But raised dried fruit, great sources of iron and calories, powerhouse of calories. It's concentrating calories, iron, and I know for a fact dates have potassium in it, packed with potassium. Look at all those vitamins. Niacin, great source of vitamin B3. Niacin is B3. Iron is 2% per serving. I ripped off the serving size accidentally. $30 grams of carbohydrates per serving, 120 calories. I only use about 2 or 3 dates in the salad as a kind of as a quick garnish, but it adds the sweetness to it. Now you have to be careful when you consume dried fruit. Use very little bit of it in recipes that contain a vinaigrette. Definitely brush your teeth afterwards. You want to make sure you brush your teeth later on or shortly after, especially before you go to sleep. Always brush your teeth, because dried fruit, very high in calories. Not calories. Dried fruit, very high in sugar content, and it can get stuck in between the teeth. I want to be careful with that. I know that a lot of raw foodists talk about developing cavities from eating raw food, from eating dates, dried fruit. It's the dried fruit that causes the cavities. Walnuts, I use about a handful in this recipe. Great source of omega-3 and 6. I may not even add chia seed oil. This is great with smoothies. Omega-3s. Very small amount I may add to boost it. Now omega-3s are sourced from nuts and seeds. You will find mostly omega-6 and 9 from produce, such as zucchinis, eggplant. They have a lot of omega-6 in comparison to omega-3s. Well, it has more omega-6 than omega-3. Carrots are a great source of beta-carotene, which is actually healthy for our eyes. And beta-carotene, carotenoids, anything red in color, are contain lycopene in it. If it's concentrated, like tomato paste, great as a way to fight off men who have or may develop prostate cancer. There's been various studies showing that it reduces the chances or slows down the development of prostate cancer specifically. Okay, so lycopene. I don't eat too much of it because tomatoes are actually a nightshade, and I react to if I eat too many nightshades. I've been trying to reduce them because they work against my thyroid, and I have hypothyroidism. I notice the effects based on how much energy I have throughout a day, and an adjustment in my diet by cutting back on the nightshades. I learned that last winter when I was living in northern New Jersey. And making homemade recipes. I was getting a reaction from too many nightshades, and also because it actually can interfere with the way the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus interact with each other. And I was actually born with congenital hypothyroidism. Supposedly, it's a non-cancerous tumor around my pituitary gland. So, it's a benign thing, supposedly. That's what congenital hypothyroidism actually means from through my research. And it was originally detected through a non-cancerous nodule on my thyroid gland, but I was prescribed thyroid medication as a precautionary way to prevent anything cancerous like a goiter from actually developing at the time, originally. But I continued taking the medication for many, many, many years, over a decade, I believe. Last year was the first time I actually tried coming off of thyroid medication. I was taking levothyroxine, which was a generic form of Synthroid, and I always noticed the Synthroid worked better than when I was taking the levothyroxine, which is the generic, but I was taking the generic for many years, let's say it was about 5 years until I switched back onto the name brand, which is actually composed differently. The composition actually breaks down differently. When I put it in my mouth, it stays solid. If I was to take the levothyroxine and drink some water, I'd get very dehydrated. I would have a lot of insomnia. It was almost like I had some mania from it. I may have been hypomanic a few times. I would have been considered an insomniac. And I believe it had caused another symptom that is found in bipolar disorder. And I do know that since I'm a vegan, I do know certain ingredients do affect my mood, such as high fructose corn syrup. If I eat an Oreo or a cookie that has high fructose corn syrup in it, my mood would spike. I'd be happy for a short amount of time. Let's say for about 15 minutes, I feel like great. And then afterwards, I'd feel like below where I was before I consumed that product. So, same with even when I eat an avocado. But avocados are a natural source of serotonin. It actually contains the hormone serotonin in an avocado. And when I eat, let's say I was eating a whole avocado for lunch a few times in a salad or something, or even as a snack. You could spread it on bread. Works better than as a natural dairy-free, cholesterol-free substitute for margarine. If you spread it on let's say olive loaf or something like that, it works as a great substitute. But in my case, I can't eat it all the time because of the serotonin in it. It would make me very happy and I would go through a depressive state. So I mean, I may not be able to do it live, but I may try that one afternoon and record myself. I probably wouldn't be able to do it in front of an audience. I'd probably have to do it alone. Now, clear skin, a healthy facial complexion, half a lemon, about a quarter cup of olive oil, eighth a cup of apple cider vinegar, nuts and seeds containing zinc, tahini, abundant in zinc, removes acne. For Asian flavor or cuisine, sesame seed oil, zinc, and potassium, tryptophan, sesame seeds, tryptophan, concentrated, and anything alkaline. Like I said earlier, the apple cider vinegar, the lemon, if you use lime, tastes acidic, but is actually very alkaline. And when you ingest it, let's say the apple cider vinegar, and And the lemon, its chemistry is actually alkaline. It just tastes acidic. As we would consider, let's say, something else that is acidic, like tomatoes, which actually feel acidic in our gut after we eat them. You know, how like a tomato sauce. If you eat too much tomato sauce, it could like make you feel, if you eat too much anything acidic, it can make you feel very sick to the stomach if you eat too much higher quantities of acidic foods, if you don't balance it out with anything alkaline. Alright, so, but this is very alkaline. Very alkaline. Minerals, zinc, removes acne. The water content in produce such as zucchini and eggplants, very alkaline. Half a lemon, very alkaline. For flavor, as a garnish, sesame seed oil instead of a few sesame seeds. Alright, so, and I don't know. If you get any recipe book that deals with homemade recipes, especially vegetarian and vegan cookbooks, almost every recipe book that I've read in the past when I was learning about vegetarian and vegan cooking, I don't know how many years ago, it was introductory, they always recommend adding sea salt in almost every recipe book that I've read, any recipe. So, it's a natural source of iodine. And in my previous video, I don't know why the salt does not supply iodide, a necessary nutrient. I do not react well to table salt or NaCl, which is actually produced in the factory synthetically and or iodized. I mean, once in a while, okay, but in the past, when I began making more homemade meals with the pure ingredients and including the natural sea salt, my blood work results, the lab work came out better for my thyroid than when I ate processed food with the high sodium already in it, let's say baked beans or something like that. That would be vegetarian. Carrots, beta-carotene, carotenoids, good for our eyes. Night vision, being able to see at night better. When it's pitch dark, being able to see objects still. And let's say in a room, but not glowing in the dark or anything like that. But this is a recipe that will help those who have trouble sleeping. I don't have any trouble sleeping. I sleep very well since I became a vegan. I used to be an insomniac, mostly due to the side effects of the medications I was taking. So yeah, I accidentally found out that how many ingredients I was using that was packed with magnesium in it, and the tryptophan. So, but I was conscious of how much I was putting in there at the time. I just forgot about how my body would react to it. And I want to make this zucchini fruit salad. But don't forget, dried fruit, great sources of iron and calories. Gain weight for hard gainers as a vegan. And iron can be found in rolled oats too. When you buy dehydrated fruit, check to see how it's been, what's other ingredients other than the fruit in there, because this one is just dried dates, which is okay, but most of the time, if it's organic, you'd probably say citric acid or vitamin C as a preservative for color retention, or if you do it homemade, like if you dehydrate your own fruit, I used to use a solution of, let's say, a half a gallon of water in a bowl, and then you would pre-slice either the produce or the apples and soak them in a solution of, let's say, a half a gallon of water to anything containing vitamin C. You can also get vitamin C powder, ascorbic acid powder, which is vitamin C powder. I've on my Pinterest, one of my Pinterest boards, the Trader Joe's vitamin C powder. Use like a tablespoon of that in there, and then you would soak your produce in there for a short amount of time, and then you would put it on the rack to dehydrate. It speeds up the dehydration time. Or you could use a source of, let's say, lemon juice, or again, sorry, I'm running out of space. Something acidic that contains a natural source of vitamin C, such as the apple cider vinegar. Small amount, like a tablespoon or two in there. And then you would soak it in there, and then you would dehydrate it for about 6 to 12 hours. Sometimes it would take 24 hours, depending on how much water content naturally is found in that produce or fruit or whatever. Berries have less water content. Bananas are technically a berry. If you search on Google, if you look up bananas, it will say technically they're berries. It's not even a fruit. So that's just something to. So this is kind of like an all-in-one